So a little bit the idea of fast fashion is that consumers tend to buy a very big quantity of
Yeah, I mean, it's
items.
about buying better than buying more.
So that's the question I have. Like, is ethical fashion necessarily? Does ethical fashion necessarily mean that we need to buy less, or is it that we need to buy better quality, or how does this work?
Yeah, I just thinking buying better is just to be more conscious of like your choices. I think what's really fascinating right now about what's happening with everyone having to stay at home with with the sort of pandemic that's going on, it's making people question their shopping choices. Actually, is this piece that I'm going to buy right now, is this really essential? And I'd be so interested to see what's going to happen when we're all allowed out again, and what people are going to really do. Like, what's their shopping habits going to be? Will people really consciously shift and say, do I really need that top, or should I buy this for a little bit more that's means more? And a lot of the stuff that's created here by, say, sort of brands like we've got like Palava or Komodo again, and these are classic designs, classic shapes. So I think, again, if you're buying these, they're things that will last in your wardrobe for a long time.
Yes. So I actually noticed that myself. I'm a keen buyer. So part of the question, my previous question was like, for example, myself, I do buy a lot of items, but usually they are vintage or charity shop finds and such. So I consider myself an ethical buyer. But I noticed, as you said, that now with the lockdown, I haven't bought anything. Being at home, I haven't bought anything because I do enjoy going to the shop and looking around and finding interesting items.
Yeah, that's all part of actually shopping. That's the joy of shopping. That's very much what this shop is about as well. It's about an experience, which is another thing about it, is that's an experience of a shop, not just buying it for the sake of buying it. It's the experience that you may be seeing there that you're missing. So that's another thing. But I think it's okay to have a wardrobe full, as long as you're, vintage pieces, if you're hanging on to them, or if again, and you're putting them back into the system again. You take these vintage pieces, you put them back to, say, like a charity, or resell to a vintage shop, or that kind of thing, or swap with your friends. I think at the moment that's becoming maybe a new thing as well, is like people are swapping more. When we all get here, we'll get bored of what we've got, let's swap it.
Yeah, I know that we were planning to organize some swaps during the Fashion Revolution Week, but unfortunately, let's hope that it
will happen.
It will happen.
I think people are going through their wardrobe. It's exciting as well. We wanted to do a thing a couple of weeks on Godiva on Instagram, as well as people going through their wardrobes, like telling us a story about their one piece. Just like taking photo of their favorite piece. This connection that people have with clothes that they don't realize, it's really important. Actually, memories are attached to clothes, and I love all that.
And that's so different when you own a unique item, or something that the story, that who made it, the designer and such. Whereas it's so much different when you own an item that a million other people have exactly the same.
Right. Exactly.
So that makes a difference as well. So do you find it easy? So you mentioned a couple of brands that you have in Godiva. So do you find it easy to find ethical brands? And what is it that you look out for that makes you decide to have this brand in your shop?
Do you know, it's become a lot easier to find ethical brands. I mean, almost now, if people approach the shop and it's not ethically produced in some way, or made out of, like, for example, we have Insane in the Rain coats, and they're made from recycled plastic. And that's a really exciting thing for the shop and for fashion in general. So, there's technology out there now. There's, bamboo cottons have become more accessible. And so for us, it is important where things, because we've always been about being different too. So independent designers that are hand making on their own pieces, these things are slightly more individual, or they're one-off. I find there's a lot of more people now approaching the shop. And there's just a lot more kind of power behind all of it, which is really great, really exciting. And you can really feel the difference, see the difference, it's just...
So yeah, so you mentioned the material. So for example, the recycled plastic bottles. So it's something. So the material it comes first. Is it a priority, or do you look out for like where it's made, the item?
Yeah, I think there's a bit. Yeah, no, it's definitely where it's made actually, or the connections that people have to their factories, for example. And yeah, and that's a big thing that Komodo, you know, they're always checking up on their factory. And that's one question that we do always ask people as well, like where are they made? Where does it come from? It's the sort of fair wages, because that's really, it's really, really important to us.
Okay, that's great. And so you mentioned a couple of them. You mentioned Komodo and Palava, which to me at least, that I am aware of, ethical brands are very popular and very, very nice.
All of them. We've got all the girls that are really just making things in the UK that are just really exciting. Like Collect Me is the new one that we've brought in, and since, unfortunately, just before this all kicked off, but she was doing really, really well with her trousers that she was making, and they're all handmade, they're upcycled vintage. And then we've had Molly Brown, which we've done for like 12 years now or something, where she's been making all her own pieces. And these pieces are really affordable. You know, her tops are maybe like £40, and I still have some of tops of hers in my drawers, which are like 12 years old, and they're still very relevant and wearable today because they're just made out of different pieces of vintage fabrics. So it's
so there are some brands like Molly Brown that you mentioned that it's been around for a lot of years. So do you know if their brands have grown in a sense that they are not as independent or as
these people are all, I mean, Godiva is all about, it's never really been about the money, but it's people just making a living, you know, and making enough. You know, I didn't set out the shop to like build millions of shops and make loads of money. It was all about like the message and about just having enough. And I think, again, something that's coming out of this whole COVID situation is that it's all about kind of, you know, whereas enough is enough, really. Like, you don't need all the things that you've got. You should just be, and it's being happy with what's around. And with all the designers that we have, they've never, a lot of them don't want to get any bigger. A lot of them are happy with the, you know, being, and they are popular. They make good money, you know, they make enough, and for them it's satisfaction that they get. Well, I'm talking on their behalf, but you know, the people I've spoken to, satisfaction that they get from doing their own thing, from having their own business. You know, it's a skill that they have, and that's really exciting.
Yes, that sounds really, really nice. And it definitely plays a role of how customers see these brands and these designers. So are there, so we know that ethical fashion is a little bit more popular right now, or we hope it is. So are there more shops like yours in the market that you know of? And what can you do to kind of like avoid competition, but you know, you work for the same purpose, for the same cause. So how would you go about avoiding competition with such shops?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I don't know that there are many shops like Godiva. I hope there is, because, you know, it means, I think the shop sort of stands for some sort of good, positive messages. But yeah, we're always adapting, actually. We're always moving to see what else we can kind of break in. So with Godiva itself, it's got the 2 rooms already with the vintage and independent designer. So much on offer already, but we're also launching, in fact, unfortunately, this week we were meant to be having an event for Fashion Revolution, but it's cancelled. And we were going to be launching our new rail. It's called the Borrow Me rail. And it would be a rental of our one-off pieces that we're actually getting made by independent designers. Emperor's Old Clothes, in fact, was making a collection for it.
Oh, so fantastic.
Again, yeah, there'll be one-off pieces that people can wear to like either events. They can just hire it. Because the thing is, if you were going to a wedding and then you're spending like £150, £200 on a dress, and maybe they don't sit in your wardrobe. So we're trying to then say, okay, actually, let's not let that happen. And in terms of the circular fashion, again, we'll hire it out for a really affordable price, and then we'll bring it back and someone else can enjoy it, and then it won't just sit filling up someone's wardrobe. And there's a real joy in it as well, I think, because it's nice. And it gives people the opportunity to, maybe when they didn't want to spend all that money, but it gives them a chance to be able to wear that and then bring it back.
Yes.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It was really exciting, but we're still working on it. It will happen. It's just whenever.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I've heard about this this hiring kind of movement, and that it's already happening in Berlin. I know
some of it's online, but for us, it's like it'd be nice to have it in the store, because more of a destination store in that sense, and we're really interactive when we're in here, so it'd be really fun to kind of help people get good outfits for events. It'll be probably more event wear than just hiring. I don't know how it will evolve, though. I don't know where it will take us, but like I say, it's the shop always moves and adapts.
No, that sounds great, and it's you try to find ways that you can support the ethical fashion movement, and that's great. Is there any other way you have in mind that we can become more responsible consumers and more ethical buyers?
I think it's just maybe just thinking before you buy, which sounds a bit silly when I run a shop and I want to make money and people buy things. But like I say, everything that we offer here, is sort of, we've thought about it, it means something. So I just, buy something, but buy better, but buy less, I think. Yeah. Or swap now as well. At least sort of swapping clothes is great. It's sort of reviving your wardrobes, and that's exciting too. Or come in and borrow our stuff of our new borrow rail.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear from you, that to say people swap, because that's not very good for your business. I mean, if people
it's still positive. It's like people are still going to come in and like buy, and clothes do make you feel good. There's this real mental health thing about clothes, which again is important. People getting dressed at the moment, getting up, putting on your favorite item, make yourself feel good while you're sitting at home.
Exactly. So